What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I would like to welcome you all to another edition of Wayne's Perspective, where we operate in discipline, decency, integrity, and respect. Before I get to today's video, which is going to be another reaction video, I just want to make a couple of points. The first point that I want to make is that, yes, I would still say, I'm fairly new to the YouTube videos and putting content out there. So I do want to offer an apology to those who have looked at my videos and listened to my videos. And you may notice at times I do stumble on my words just a bit. And, a person close to me today told me that that's going to get better with time. And I do agree with that. But, I still like to get through my videos without having to stumble here and there. So I do want to apologize for that. And, in addition to it, getting better in time, I do want to find my voice along the way. Even though I don't like the way that I sound recorded, I still want to find my voice along the way. So again, I do apologize for that. And if you're still sticking with me, much props to you. And secondly, I'm looking to have a dope intro and maybe an outro created for my channel. So if there's anyone out there that you would recommend who makes good intros and outros, be sure to let them know that I'm looking for someone, or throw the recommendations my way, and we'll go from there. But again, just want to put that out there before we get started. So with that all being said, I hope everyone is doing okay. April is still trudging on, and we're heading into May 2024. We can believe that. So I hope everyone is doing okay and taking every day one day at a time and going about things the best way you know how. So considering, or should I say, speaking of going about things the best way we know how, so today's reaction video is going to be courtesy of Roland Martin. Now, I know Roland gets, flack from certain people in terms of, being a quote unquote Democratic shield and all this other mess. Now, I don't really subscribe to that notion, and I'm going to touch on that briefly in this video. But this one, after listening to it today, I just had to come back and react to it because of the content that he's reacting to and the comments that he made before and afterwards. So as far as Black media, the one thing that I do give Roland Martin credit for is he's all in when it comes to Black media, Black stories, Black power, anything that has to do with being Black, he's all for that. And it's not necessarily a pro-Black stance. It's mainly just being a good representative when it comes to Black media. So shout out to Roland Martin. And I do want to preface it by saying fair usage for the video, fair usage. So again, much props to Roland Martin as well as his guests. Even though I'm not going to include them on this particular reaction video, I still want to shout them out. And like I said, when it comes to this type of content, Roland has been doing a great job with it. His platform is pretty good, so I have no arguments on that front. So with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get my screen shared. And we're going to go right into this. And again, fair usage for this video, fair usage. And like I said, I'm going to offer my thoughts in between. You all know how I do. So let's go ahead and get to it, y'all.
It really gets on my nerves when I see conservatives, especially white conservatives, say some of the most outlandish things when it comes to comparing the plight of thug-in-chief Donald Trump to the revered veterans of the Black Freedom Movement, also known as the Civil Rights Movement. Newt Gingrich, the disgraced former Speaker of the House, who should not give anybody any marital advice whatsoever, was on Fox News, right. And this idiot actually said this.
Check out these comments,
in terms of the court, something that Speaker Mike Johnson said really struck home with me when he said about the decision on whether or not to help Israel and Ukraine, that this is not a game. Let me tell you, I am deeply worried that tomorrow a totally corrupt judge and a totally corrupt district attorney are going to try to put a former president of the United States, candidate of his party, and front runner in the polls in jail. Now, I think this is so horrendous that there has to be some way to reach out to the Supreme Court. I mean, this is literally like some of the civil rights workers in Mississippi in the 1960s. The New York system is now so deeply corrupted, and it is so bitterly, deeply anti-Trump, the absurdity of the judge's daughter, who made millions and millions of dollars doing anti-Trump politics. And the judge would like us to believe, much like Joe Biden, he had no idea what his children were doing. I mean, the whole thing, frankly, resembles On the Waterfront, Stanley Kubrick's brilliant film. This is about corruption. It has nothing to do with honesty. And what worries me is it's a genuine threat to Donald Trump. I mean, I think any step that would put him close to a New York prison is an extraordinarily dangerous step. And I would hope that there's some legal way to block it and make sure that it never happens, because the thugs he's dealing with are totally out of control, have total contempt for the rule of law, and frankly are unworthy of being in the offices they hold.
Now, let me stop it right there before Roland Martin goes in, because he's going to do that. So when you're holding them accountable and everything that comes along with that, then that's when they want to come out with the name calling. You know, everybody else is thugs. Everybody else is corrupt. Everybody else is out to get them. That's what happens when you hold them accountable. But when people like me break the law, unfortunately, you know, or people who look like us break the law, then you want to throw the book at us. You want to give us the maximum charges and everything that comes along with that. But when you hold them accountable, you know, it is what it is in this case. You know, hold them accountable is corruption. Hold us accountable, we abiding by the law. Got it. Whatever, man. So like I said, Roland Martin gonna cook here. So let's go ahead and get to it. Right. That looks exactly.
Newt Gingrich literally said on Fox News with a straight face and compared what this rich, privileged, demon-possessed individual.
And the P in Trump stands for privileged, okay? Let me just throw that in there.
Donald Trump is dealing with in a New York City courtroom is akin to what civil rights workers went through in some of the most brutal conditions of racial hatred in American history.
Exactly. And Trump, he probably has no idea what went on in the civil rights movement in the 60s. And if he does, he probably could give one damn about it. Let's continue, y'all.
Cheney, Schwerner, and Goodman were beaten, shot to death, mutilated, bodies disposed. What's crazy is that when the FBI was searching for their bodies, they uncovered other bodies of folks who had been disposed of. When we start talking about the homes of Black people that were blown up in Florida, in Mississippi, in Alabama, numerous places, when we talk about folks who were brutalized, who were sodomized,
this is American history, y'all,
who were sexually assaulted, who were lynched, who had their private parts cut off. You actually have the audacity to crap on their legacy by comparing them to this charlatan who comes to court in a blue suit and a long ass red tie, who comes in with Secret Service protection, who goes and sleeps in his 10,000 square foot home, who travels to Florida on his private plane to Mar-a-Lago to pal around with a bunch of other rich ass folks and celebrate giving them tax breaks. You, Newt Gingrich, a so-called historian, literally goes on Fox News and tries to compare with this shameless individual who paid off a porn star who he cheated on with against his wife, had his attorney, Michael Cohen, make the payments. A man who has lied, who has cheated on his taxes, who tried to overturn an election, who continues to lie about the election, and you have the audacity to compare him to black civil rights workers and white folks of conscience around the country who were fighting for the right to vote. Black people who were prevented from being a part of the Democratic delegation at Atlantic City in 1964. The folks who were shut out of public office all across Mississippi. The people who were condemned, who were chastised, who had their crops destroyed, folks who were thrown in jail. When you talk about some of the most heinous things, when you had black young folks put in Parchman prison, when you had a young black woman who was viciously beaten so bad, her face was double the size of her face normally. Her eyes were almost coming out of her head. Her lip was busted, and all she could simply say was freedom. When they sang songs in jails, when they came up missing, when parents prayed if their kids would come home every single night out of fear, they would run into Klansmen. You, Newt Gingrich, you have the audacity to invoke those people. Shame on your punk ass for having the gall to raise that. All the things that black folks have done in this country, putting lives on the line, and this sorry, no good son of a bitch.
Word up. Word up, Roland. Word up, man.
Who couldn't even go to the war because he faked so-called bone spurs in his feet. The man who has shamed POWs. The man who has spit on the folks who have died, according to his former chief of staff, John Kelly, when he wouldn't even go to their graves. You literally raised that. When Army veteran Medgar Evers was shot and killed, assassinated, getting out of his car, and he died on his doorstep with his wife and children, yelling and screaming, and it was Byron Della Beckwith who actually did it. You literally said that crap? Oh, hell no. There's no way in the world I could sit here as a conscious black man and allow you, Newt Gingrich, a truly pathetic individual, to invoke those people. They are American heroes. They are American sheroes. They are the individuals who made this country truly live up to, as Dr. King said, be true to what you put on paper. And you are not going to sit there on Fox News and make that type of comment and invoke their name and their fight and their legacy to compare it to this, yes, son of a bitch, Donald Trump. Because that's exactly what he is. That man has no morals, no values, no principles, no ethics. He stands for nothing. He fights for nobody. He only cares about himself. And you sit here and actually say somebody need to call the Supreme Court to put a stop to this. I thought y'all cared about law and order. I thought y'all cared about what's right. Y'all sure as hell kept wanting to put Hillary Clinton in jail. But I hope everybody now understands what we're dealing with. So all y'all folk out there who are like, hey, you know what? I kind of like Trump. When DJ Academic sits there and interviews Donald Trump Jr. and talks about, oh, I like how he talks tough.
Okay, let me stop it right there. Okay, now, again, mad props to Roland Martin for everything that he said. I agree with him 100%. But you see, this is what I'm talking about. You know, everything he said about Trump at the end is true. You know, no morals, no values, no none of that. You know, don't stand for anything. He's only out for one person and one person only, and that's himself. Basically, the most selfish, egotistical, narcissistic man I've ever seen in my life. You know, now, why is that appealing to some people, particularly us? I don't know. I hope it's not an entertainment factor here, because there's nothing entertaining about Donald Trump. You know, this is serious business here. You know, it was serious business in 2016. It was serious business in 2020. It's serious business in 2024, you know, and it's going to continue. Nothing is a joke here. Why does everything have to be a joke? Why does everything have to be regarding feelings and entertainment and stuff like that? Okay, yes, I give it to the guy. He can talk tough. Okay, that's one thing that he does well. He know how to talk, but none of that matters when everything that comes out your mouth is L and BS, lies and bullshit. You know, I mean, come on now. You know, let's get right here.
That man don't give a damn about you or nobody else.
Exactly.
And Newt Gingrich, you say that? Nah. You are not going to even remotely associate those heroes with this gutless piece of crap. And that's who Donald Trump is.
Exactly.
Mustafa.
All right, so we're gonna stop it right there. But yeah, Roland Cook there, like I said, I agree with everything that he said. And it's crazy that they want to compare this guy's issues to those issues of the civil rights era. I mean, did they forget all of a sudden what happened during that civil rights era? Now, I'm not gonna go and give a lot of historical context, you know, that's widely available for everyone to see, but you know, just I mean, anything to defend this guy, no matter what he says, no matter what he does, you know. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. So really, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, Roland pretty much laid it out. You know, I gave my thoughts on it. And, you know, to be honest, I honestly don't have any more to say about it. It's just that, you know, just when you think the comparisons have hit a new low, we're at this point. You know, next thing somebody's going to come on Fox News or whatever and say that you know, Trump was what, I guess comparable to Obama or something like that, you know. Please don't get that started. So I digress. Anyway, y'all, let me know what y'all think. Do you think Roland Martin was on point with his commentary, or did you agree with what he said? I mean, or did you disagree with what he said? Do you agree with Newt Gingrich's comments? Do you disagree with his comments? You know, let me know what you think. And also, if you like what you heard and you're ready to become part of Team Discipline, go ahead and hit that like button and drop some comments if you're feeling the content. And last but not least, hit that subscribe button along with the bell so you're notified when I drop new videos. And until next time, my people, take care of yourselves and remember the power of the mind is valuable.